All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Unlimited Truth right here on my YouTube channel, the first one of 2022. And it's been a while. The gaming news during the holidays was a little dry, but I think that we got a good one coming up today. Coming up to talk about today, Tuck. But before we get started, let me introduce yourself, Tuck Master.
Hey everybody, this is your boy DJ Cookmaster. Welcome to a new year for Xbox domination, which Xbox will dominate this year. Ain't no doubt about it. But this is your boy DJ Cookmaster 785 at hotmail.com. Y'all can reach me on the Xbox. You can reach me on Instagram, reach me on Facebook, and all that good stuff. So rock, Xbox.
That's what's up. All right, so to get things started, pretty much earlier this week, Phil Spencer came out and said that um the Xbox Series S and X console is the best selling Xbox console so far, as in its first year. So in the first year of any Xbox generation, this is the best it's sold, right? So the Xbox we know is on fire. And to add to that, um, in the UK, it was reported that a million Xbox Series consoles sold during the month of December as well, which is a nice follow up to when the Xbox Series S won Black Friday last year. So the point is, the Xbox is starting off the year on fire, basically, with some excellent news. And and it's not particularly about the sales. This isn't a channel where you just brag about sales, like we're running the stock market or nothing. It's just the fact that it's more proof that the Xbox console is doing well. It's beyond doing well, Tuck. It's doing excellent right now. I mean, just hell, even last week with the announce of Ubisoft Plus coming to the Xbox and Rainbow Six Extraction coming day one to Game Pass, we're starting to see Ubisoft games, being slowly added to Game Pass, which was something that wasn't the case for the longest. So everything is just look, everything is just coming up Xbox right now, basically. And at this point, the success is undeniable, except to the usual haters. And it's kind of funny that to juxtapose the Xbox, having all this massive success, the PS5, however, is still on a shortage. Not only is it on a shortage, to add some perspective to everybody, not only is it a shortage of PS5, they're continuing production of the PlayStation 4. Uh, and it's in a way, Tuck, they're trying to use the PS4 to counter the Xbox Series S, which is ridiculous to me because I believe both consoles are the same price. Which if real quick, which if you Tuck, if you think about it, if you're a consumer and you had $300, are you buying the last gen PS4? Or are you buying the brand new Xbox Series S?
I'm buying the new Series S.
Yeah, easily. Cause
I'm buying the new Series S because it's more bang for your buck for number one.
yep,
I mean, anybody who go out there and buy a PS4 at this state of the new generation systems is crazy.
yeah,
For number one, you buy the S, you get a better machine,
hmm
overall machine. You can go out there and get the Ultimate Game Pass for whatever price it's going to be, and enjoy gaming.
yeah,
Just enjoy gaming. Period. I mean, and this thing with the PS4, I thought they was going to stop making production of that system. That's
no,
what I thought they was going to do.
yeah. You think so, but the console that stopped production was the Xbox One. That console hasn't been produced since 2020. In
Right.
fact, it's telling which brand is all in on on the next generation. And a little trip down memory lane. It's kind of funny how the media and all these clickbait YouTube channels were saying stuff like oh the Xbox the Xbox One it's going to hold back next gen gaming and all this stuff. But look which console is moving forward. You know what I'm saying? It's
Xbox kicking his butt all over the place.
Yep.
It's kicking his butt all over the place. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you another thing too. About your about what you talked about with the PS5 and all that stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, there's a reason why Sony is not really. I mean, everyone want to turn and talk about how Sony's doing, but they don't want to ever turn and admit that Xbox is doing just as well.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, all you hear is Sony, 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 Sony. But Xbox is actually kicking their ass in all sorts of areas.
yep.
I mean, you got the game. I mean, you can't beat the Game Pass. That's by far none.
Hmm.
And that's one thing my son is enjoying about it. I mean, ever since he got the Xbox, and then he got the Ultimate Game Pass, man, dude, he's enjoying it. I mean, he's seeing like that. For the first time, I don't have to go out there and buy a damn game. They got good company. They got good enough games where you can keep yourself, entertained unless you want to buy a game. But if
Right.
you don't want to buy a game, because right now, it's like right now, he's playing God of War. I mean, Gears of War 5,
Hmm.
Gears of War 3, playing Halo.
Hmm.
I mean, and just figure like all them games is on the Xbox Game Pass, and you don't have to buy them if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, but but here go these Sony ponies. These Sony ponies always want to try and pull the narrative and all that stuff. I say, y'all, listen here. Okay, y'all gotta get tired of spending $70 for a damn game. Okay, now look what's going on with this Rainbow Six, dude. I like this, man. Hey, once Microsoft made that announcement with Ubisoft, nobody is not even talking about their VR no more.
Nope.
They're not even talking about that piece of crap VR because they know that VR is gonna be it's gonna be at least, I bet you at least be $400.
Yeah.
And if it comes out of that price, that's dead on arrival when you get an Optimus Rift for what, $299, $300.
Yep. I mean, the
So
VR in general doesn't have a large install base. And Radiance, thank you for joining Radiance. And he said that IO seems to be Xbox next acquisition. And yeah, there's definitely some fuel to the fire. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tuck and chat. They're making their IO Entertainment is making an Xbox exclusive game, right? I believe so. So yeah, there's definitely fire to that being their next acquisition. And oh, I forgot about this, Tuck. Just today, all three Hitman games are going to Game Pass. I believe they're coming to Game Pass today.
all three Hitman games are.
Yep, all three Hitman games are coming to Game Pass.
Now, are they supposed to be making it? Now, they supposed to be making exclusive, right? That's what I've been hearing too.
Yeah, yeah. The developers of the Hitman series, I believe, are making an exclusive for Xbox.
So I'm telling you right now, man, Xbox is not through acquiring studios.
No,
They,
no, not at
you know,
all.
if these people think they are, I play like this, man. If they ever get their hands on Crystal Dynamics,
Oh, I'd
if they
love
get their
that.
hands on Crystal Dynamics, and if they get their hand on a lot of these other studios, Sony's gonna be in trouble, man.
Yeah, I would love if they got Crystal Dynamics, especially after the way Square Enix threw them under the bus after the Avengers, and then Tomb Raider situation. Hey, I
Right.
say, man, if I'm Crystal Dynamics, I'm like, hey, Microsoft, give me that contract, man. Let me join you. And then I mean, and to add to that, Crystal Dynamics is helping with Perfect Dark. So again, that's another developer that we should keep our eye out on. I mean, Xbox has a lot going on, just so much going on, man. It's wonderful. You know, and as I said all through last year, this the golden age of Xbox, Tuck. It really is, and it's funny when you just it I sit back, Tuck, and I see just the reaction. I see just how the community is just opening up and blossoming. A lot of people are coming to the Xbox community, and for the most part, there's a lot of just good ass gamers who just want to enjoy video games. And they and the best thing about coming to Xbox is something like Game Pass, where you could buy the console and don't need to spend hundreds on new games because just sign up the Game Pass. You got 400 games right there. Boom, you're good. And yeah, 9 foot Game Pass is on fire. And we were just talking about how how the Hitman trilogy is coming. Oh, it's coming to Game Pass on January 20th. So that's next week, I believe. So it's coming to Game Pass next week, Tuck. I mean, just great stuff, man. Um, the the look for all my Xbox fans out here watching. You deserve this generation of just enjoy gaming. Show your love for the gaming community out there, man. Um, because uh, you Game Pass alone is just this unstoppable force, Tuck.
Yeah,
It's
it is. It really is.
I mean, at this point, it's so, and the beauty of Game Pass is that it's so far ahead of the competition that the competition just can't catch up so easily. You know what I'm saying? They could push PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus, whatever the hell they want, as much as they want. It's no Game Pass. It's not as simple as installing a game and you're playing it, and you could play the whole game as long as it's available, and you could you could buy any game to own on Game Pass and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
man.
Hey, Ultimate, I just got through talking to Hebot. He said he gonna come
Uh-huh.
in.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. He
Yeah.
could join whenever he can make it.
Yeah, but
And yeah.
Ultimate, one thing else. This is I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna have to give Xbox some more love too, because everybody's not even talking about the cloud. Nobody's not even talking about the cloud, man. The
Yeah.
cloud
Oh,
is beautiful, man. I was playing a game. I mean, I had to even download it on my system. I played the game off the cloud, and that was
yeah.
it. I mean, like me and my son is playing. It Takes Two.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you he downloaded on his Xbox, but
Hmm.
I haven't downloaded my Xbox, and I saw that it was on the cloud, and I saw the game that was on the cloud, and I just popped it in off the cloud, and we played.
Oh shit. That's what's up.
I mean, so people got to get. I mean, it's just. I mean, the Game Pass is up, but I give love to the cloud service too,
Yeah,
because the
yeah.
cloud service is just killing it right now, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
have you
sorry.
tried it yet?
Uh, for cloud gaming, I haven't tried it like that. I've heard good things about it. And what's up, 100? Thank you for joining. And speaking of cloud gaming, 100, man, he's one of those dudes who be playing the cloud gaming and stuff. But since I've been working from home, so I don't really have a reason to use cloud gaming like that. So I'm still mostly just playing off my console. But for those who are using it, yeah, I'm hearing really good things about how smooth that cloud gaming is. You
Man,
know.
it's smooth, man. Xbox is really doing a good job of bringing that in. And plus, what I like about it, you can play it on your Xbox. You just don't have to play it on your phone or anything like that. You can play it right off your Xbox.
Yeah.
So I mean, I give Microsoft kudos for that now. I mean, it's a whole lot better than what it was when it first came out, and you can't beat it. So I give Microsoft their kudos for that. And matter of fact, Bone, Miss 100, I mean 100 talked about that the other doggone day in his podcast. I think yesterday he talked about that yesterday, and I was listening to it, and I said I had to bring that up. So 100, thanks for bringing that up because it is good and it's running
Yeah.
smooth as butter.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I'm going on a little trip this weekend, so maybe I could just grab a controller with me and see how it works while I'm out of
Right,
town.
right.
Cause
Oh, and
uh-huh.
another thing too about the cloud service. If you don't have enough space on your hard drive,
Oh
if you
yeah,
don't have enough
good
hard
point.
space on your hard drive, you can go to the cloud service and play it right there and there. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about it. You don't have to worry about downloading to your system. And then plus, what I love so much about it, it saves all your games right then on the cloud. So
Yeah,
it's a good
yeah.
benefit.
It's
Period.
truly flawless. It really is flawless in how
Yeah,
it works. And oh,
yeah,
and here's this one, Tuck. If you don't have the Xbox Series X or X, you could use the cloud gaming on your Xbox One to play, games like Halo and the
yep,
Medium and Starfield. Those games that aren't playable on the Xbox One. So I
yep.
almost forgot about that. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
man, that cloud gaming ain't no joke.
So as Phil Spencer said, that nobody's gonna be left behind. Nobody is gonna be left behind.
Yeah, and he did it, and the way he did it was perfect because look, that now that you could play these games on your Xbox One through the cloud, they don't have to sacrifice resources for a game like Starfield because Starfield is only going to be playable on the next gen consoles and PC. It's
Right,
not going to be playable on the Xbox One. If you wanted to own it digitally or buy the physical copy. So
right,
little stuff like that is just a brilliant foresight in Xbox, and it really does just juxtapose completely with Sony because on the Sony side, Tuck, it's funny how all right, so they have the PS5 shortages and whatever, and we already know that a large number of them, up to 25% of them, has never been turned on, and as a result, the way that Sony's combating that, Tuck, is by continuing to produce PS4 games. So this might mean that games like the God of War game and all that stuff might be a cross gen game, might be a cross gen game as well, right? So
right.
it's funny. Which company was it again, Tuck, that was saying that they believe in generations and have their fan base all riled up on game playing old games and all that shit?
Oh man, PlayStation.
Yeah.
Shit, I mean that's all it is to it. I mean, and the thing about it is, let's just be serious about the whole damn thing.
Hmm.
I mean, Microsoft's in a position now. They're in it right now. They're in the game position to shut everything down right now. I mean, they can just. I mean, I don't know what Sony's gonna do. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about that Horizon Birth of the Wild game that's coming
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah. Horizon
Oh
2.
man, they said there's all kind of leaks on that game.
Yeah. Hey, but look who's joining us, Tuck. Look who just made it in.
Oh,
Hola!
hiya! Mr. He bottom.
Yeah, you made it.
Hola!
You made it. Hey, you gotta
Hey!
give him his credit, Suck. He always makes it, man.
Yeah,
What's
he
up, my
does.
brother Hebot, man? How's your New Year's been so far? And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Happy New Year. It's the new Hebot. New and improved. Broken, but still new and improved. Just here, brother. Just trying to deal with a lot of personal issues at home, because this
Yeah,
COVID thing is no joke. It
yeah,
doesn't want to go away. We
yeah.
can't figure it out. There's nothing that's working, it seems like. So
I know it's
it's
crazy.
just like we got to learn how to live with it until we figure it out because this shit is crazy.
Yeah.
It
Well,
really
hey,
is.
hey, let me catch you up on what we're talking about, Hebot, and
Absolutely.
I'd love to
Absolutely.
get your thoughts on well. So earlier this week, it, and everything. It's funny how everything ties together. So give me a minute to just explain it real quick. Because
Hmm.
earlier this week, Phil Spencer came out and said that up to this point, the Xbox Series S and X console has been the best-selling Xbox yet, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And
I
to
heard. I
add
saw
to
that.
that, in the UK in December, they had 1 million Xbox Series consoles sold.
Nice.
Which is more proof that it's doing well.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
remember, back in November, the Series S won Black Friday. So
Right.
even though we don't have specific numbers, we don't need it because we got confirmation from Phil Spencer. We know that they sold well during the holiday, and it sold well in the UK.
Right.
And to juxtapose all of that, on the flip side, the PS5 is having a shortage, and the response to that is PlayStation 4 is still being in production, while the Xbox One hasn't been in production since 2020. So let me get
Right.
your thoughts on all of that, man. I know it's kind of a lot, but
Yeah, yeah, it's a mouthful.
yeah,
It's a
we haven't
mouthful.
yeah, we haven't hung out or done anything in a while, so
Right.
it's kind of like a catch up show, basically.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that, and even back in Black Friday, look, Microsoft decided right from the very beginning of this generation to do two SKUs because they wanted to make people feel comfortable right from the get go, right? They
Right.
wanted people that wanted a next gen console to have an entry point console and a premium console, so the ones that are looking for that premium experience can buy the premium console, and the ones that weren't really too comfortable, perhaps new to Xbox, the ecosystem itself, or even people that didn't like Xbox and were trying to be curious to find out what it's about this generation, right?
Hmm.
They gave them the option of, okay, well, we'll give you this lesser console with a lot of the feature sets and a lot of the chipsets that go with the premium one, but it won't be the premium experience, of course, and it'll be digital. You really don't have to buy disc games. So your ownership is going to vary, right? Because obviously licensing plays a big part, right? And
Right.
they did it just to give people options. But when pandemic hit, which was right about the same time of launch, right? It actually worked in their favor because since it's the cheaper console to produce, because it has cheaper chip parts in it, with the exception of the GPU and the CPU, which is exactly the same, they were able to manufacture it and produce it faster and quicker, right? But I'm also going to add to that I have a big feeling, right, that what also worked in their favor is that a lot of people were, when they went to get the new consoles for Xbox and PlayStation, right, they
Hmm.
were more concentrating on getting the X, right?
Right.
So the X became the console that became harder to get and sold out the fastest. So a lot of the S's didn't sell right away. But when it
Right.
became the immediate option, people actually said, okay, fuck it. I can still play the new games and it's still going to give me all the feature set, like, like smart delivery,
Yeah.
like Dolby Atmos surround and support, like Dolby Vision support. It has DirectX 12 implemented in it, and all those, and it's kind of future proof in that sense, even though it's smaller teraflops and less memory, right? But
It's more
it's
capable
still
than the
gonna,
PS5.
right. It's even have a processor that's even faster than the PlayStation 5, and that's not a shade at PlayStation. That's a fact, right? So the people was like, okay, I'm just gonna get that, right? And
Hmm.
it's only $300 anyway. And then when they got it, they were pleasantly surprised. They were pleasantly happy with it. They were like, oh shit, this shit is and actually a really nice console, a nice
Yeah.
option, a nice secondary option, nice, third secondary option. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that what happened is, because it's so cheap and cheaper to manufacture, right? And because it was probably not moving as fast and as on demand as the X was in the beginning, it worked in their favor long term now with this pandemic, because
Yeah.
it's the one that they're able to get out there much faster, right? And much
Yep.
prominent, right?
Yep.
But people also got to understand that there's a lot of layers that is going on now. The other thing that's hurting the, say, in the PlayStation 5's case too, is because it's too many scalpers are out there trying to get it so that they
Hmm.
can sell them for profit because it's the popular console. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
And he bought. To your point, man. 25% of PS5s have never been turned on,
Well, they
and
just
you're
said yesterday, I think it was, that it's 35% now. They
oh
haven't been
oh
activated. So I'll get to that.
holy
The
moly.
reason why I think it's that's why they decided to manufacture PS4 again. Because
Hmm.
remember, Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out in 3 months or two
Yeah.
months, right? So they need people to play the game. A lot of people got rid of their consoles trying to get a PS5 and haven't been able to
Oh,
do that,
that is a great point.
right? So they're like, fuck, how are we going to get people to play it? Because it is a cross gen game. They need to make numbers. Remember, the software is what makes them money, not the consoles. It's always been that way for any company, even Microsoft. So that's why I tell people it only makes sense that they do that, because they can manufacture PS4s at a much cheaper rate, much quicker rate, because it's an old hardware set. That's why the Switch and the Switch Lite are easy to keep manufacturing because they're cheaper hardware set, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? When things are cheaper and that are not and they're not on demand, it's obviously easier to manufacture. So they're thinking to themselves, listen, we got to get this out there so we can have people play and new people buy PS4s to play the game because it's a new title. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how they're looking at it from that business standpoint. Plus, their supply of PS5 it's finished. They got to the main. They maximized their supply. They said we maximized our supplies. Now we're having some troubles. We got to find a way to manufacture more, and it's going to cost money and time because they're not seeing the revenues either. Because when these scalpers buy them and they don't get it in people's hands, that means people are not buying enough games on their platform, right? Especially on the PS5 because that's where the new games are at. Why you think Ratchet and Clank only did 1.3 million sales? You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? Why you
Return of
think
500,000.
right 500,000? Demon Souls Remaster, it only fucking sold like another what 300,000. They don't have enough consoles in people's hands to get enough software movement. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
what's moving on the PS5 is just what moves on the PS4. Is their multiplats and the Fortnite because that's their number
Yeah.
one game like, every time because
Yep.
it's a free to play. All they do is play Fortnite and the multiplat like Call of Duty, the Battlefields. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And then he, but I was bringing him another interesting fact to unlimited production. I mean, I was bringing him another fact too. That during the time when the Xbox Series S was selling, the advantage that I took of it is when I went to Best Buy and I went on there to find out that I can buy an Xbox Series X on their program.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
That's a benefit.
Right. Wait. That's another thing, Chuck. You have a good point. The other thing is that the reason why also more Xboxes are getting in people's hands, in actual people's fans that want to get it in their hands because Microsoft did a lot of things to help prevent scalping, even though there are Xboxes getting scalped, don't get me wrong, but it's not as much because a lot of people can do it through all access, right through the Microsoft store, through the Xbox, right? So it's directly to them. You can't steal, you can't lie, you can't fake it. You need real authentication, a real birth certificate, you need real social security numbers, real credit cards. You got to prove it's you, right?
Yeah.
And they only allow you to buy one console at a time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's another de facto that works in their favor. Now with PlayStation, the only people giving that type of option, right, where you can buy the console, right, bundled up or like a layaway plan, is GameStop. But the problem with the GameStop situation is GameStop knows it's the console that's most in demand because of the popularity, right? So they're selling it way too expensive in bundle prices.
Yeah.
They had a bundle that
They're selling it with, they'll like throw an extra game or controller and sell it for like $750, $800.
Right. There's one bundle they did that you had to buy that you could get a TV with it, but it was almost like $1,500 or some shit like that. You see what I'm saying? And the TV was like a 40-inch TV. It wasn't even an LED. It was like 1080p or whatever. So the point of the matter is that right there is also what's not helping move the units because they do bundles with Xbox as well, but it's not as expensive. Because remember, Microsoft is in business with GameStop. They're doing business ventures. So they can't do things that Microsoft's not going to approve of. You understand what I'm saying?
That's true.
So a lot of people don't understand that. They got to understand that. That's why you're not going to see. And plus, at the same time, at that same time, you got to remember that because the quote unquote perception is that Xbox is not as popular. They're not going to put the bundles for the Xbox as expensive either. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a lot of. I'm sorry. What was that, sir?
I say, yeah, right.
Right. So there's a lot of factors that are being into this situation, but but what makes it difficult and what makes it hard is that now this turnaround is going to be it's going to make this generation hold back more. You get what I'm trying to say? Because now developers are going to be like, well, when we do something, we got to concentrate on the leading platform more than anything. Or they're going to start doing the same bullshit they did with the Xbox One X. That once they had the option to do games better, they still try to keep it parity because they were worried about their sales on the Xbox on the PS4 rather than the Xbox. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Right.
Which the truth of the matter is, I really feel that if they actually utilize the real power and potential of the Xbox and didn't care about parity, it's still going to do well regardless. It might even help it do more because more people are going to be more interested if they actually see that it's way better on the Xbox than it is on PlayStation. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, because people,
Yeah.
look, people spent a lot of money on these consoles, and
Right. So they want the best.
Yeah, they want the best. They want the best of the best. I mean, there's a reason why a game like Forza Horizon has 15 million players because
Right.
because it's the top of the line game that it's one of the top of the line games you could play on these next gen or current gen consoles. And
Right.
even though it's playable on the Xbox One, the moment you turn it on your Series S or X, you know you're playing something special.
Right.
Now they have the benefit of not needing to develop for extra consoles other than just PC and the two Xboxes, right? So that's going to be a benefit that they have. That's a benefit exclusive tend to have
And
in
play a part.
general.
Right.
Yes, your development could be streamlined a lot better.
But that's the same. That's the same logic that could be used for the PlayStation 5 and 4. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With their exclusives. So
but the difference though is that, and this is why the Xbox Series S was brilliant, because it allows developers to develop from the top down. So you're not sacrificing. You're not really sacrificing. If you have both consoles, which I believe you do, because your daughter has one of the Series S, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yes, so you probably have firsthand knowledge. If you both games will look incredible, but you'll still get the benefits of the Series X. With the PS4, when you got to develop for the PS4 or the PS5, the PS4 is a complete is damn near 10 years old at this point. That's old as hardware. That hardware is so old. It's gonna impact those cross generation games way differently than the Microsoft style.
Yeah, and it wasn't designed where you can just downgrade it from a PS5 either. That's why they charge you for the upgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it wasn't designed that way. So they actually have to spend more money and more work development time to do it because it's a much I guess tedious process or difficult process, right? Which makes perfect sense. You know and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying like this is a good thing because at least it proves that all the other things that were being said, like the PlayStation, we're about generations, that these games are not, that these consoles are, that these games are possible in that console. That just proves that that's a lie, right? That's number one. And number two, it's good. It's good in that sense, but it's bad in the sense that this is going to now put a hiccup on developers, especially third party, when they do shit on Xbox, because I know because of the stupid perception, they're probably going to hold back and not use and utilize the Xbox. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with the Xbox One X. Let's keep it real. There was only a few developers that actually went in there and did the right thing and utilized the power. And you saw the disparity between the PS4 Pro version and the Xbox One X version.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? And we're already at a disadvantage because, let's be honest, the PS4, the PS5, hardware-wise, the PS5 is still not up to snuff compared to the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we're already at a disadvantage because they already got to take that into account. Like, oh, well, there's less memory, there's less teraflops. You know what I'm saying? There's less flexibility. So we got to make sure it still works on the PS5 and that it still has good quality and it looks great because, this is the leading platform. We got to get people to buy it. A lot of people buying PlayStation 5, these multi-plats. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's another factor. So now going back to PS4, you know, there's no way to sugarcoat it other than the fact that the PlayStation 5 is not getting in enough people's hands and enough customers' hands, and it's going to cost PlayStation way more money to manufacture more PS5s, and then they're not getting them into the consumer's hands. They end up in scalpers' hands, and they got like 200 consoles in their homes, in
Yeah,
their basement, trying to get sales.
yeah, trying to sell them at $1,200 fucking dollars.
Right.
That a lot of people ain't gonna pay for. What's
And don't
up,
get me
Ados?
wrong.
Hold
Don't get
on.
me
What's
wrong.
up?
One
One
limited.
second, Hebot. 1 second.
Sure.
What's up, Ados? Thank you for joining. Same to you, Vodka
Hey,
Man.
that's Poseidon, my brother. Happy New Year, my brother.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, Unlimited. There's been a shift in pricing too in the aftermarket because I've seen in Macari a couple of people selling the PS5 brand new for like $600 or
Oh,
620.
good point.
Yeah.
Point. My brother told me that the other day as well. He
Mhm.
he, he saw a PS5 for like 600, 650.
Yeah, and it's
With-
true. And I was like,
Yeah,
wow. And it's because they're not selling.
yeah,
Because
that's
people are losing the interest because
yeah,
there's not enough games or because the hype is just dying off because people are getting mad. They're like, fuck it, I can't get it, I'm not getting it.
yeah. I mean,
So
look, because look, and people got pissed off at that girl from G4 saying it, but it was dry as fuck on the PS5, and
right,
they don't have something like a Game Pass that if when the games aren't ready, you still have crazy content coming. So
right,
all people had last year, all they saw was a $500 console that nobody could find that just had Ratchet and Clank and some game called Returnal. Nobody knew what the fuck that was.
right.
No,
Or that
no,
it wasn't appealing to everybody because it was made too difficult. Or it
yeah,
was made in a way that didn't appeal to everybody.
Same with the Dark Souls games. Those Dark Souls
Right.
games have a strong cult following to the point that they're a bit snobbish about their Dark Souls fandom. But again, that they're niche. They're niche. They're
Yeah,
niche
there's still,
fan base.
that market hasn't grown. All their games always sell maybe no more than 2.3 million. That market doesn't grow. They try to make it seem like it does, but it really hasn't.
Yeah,
Tell me
Really
what Dark Soul
has.
game, what Dark Soul style game sold like 6, 7, 8 million, 10 million? No, they try to put up all the numbers together like, oh, it sold long term, it sold this much units with all the games like part 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's as a unit as a whole.
yeah,
But when you look at each game individually, you got 15 million people playing Forza Horizon 5, and you only got 1.5 million people playing Dark Souls. What does that tell you?
yeah.
You
They're
see what
not
I'm
selling.
saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the best selling games was games like, and 9 Foot mentioned this a minute ago in my comments. Some of the best selling games were the Fortnite or 2Ks,
Yes.
call it the same old, right?
Yeah.
Because
The same
for the
casual
general
market.
audience, and I've said this a million times, PlayStation fans, and y'all could crucify me all you want on this. The exclusives only sell to roughly 10% of your audience.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
That's what
And
that's what
Yeah.
Phil said.
yeah,
Phil said that, remember, right before last gen started in 2013, and people wanted to crucify him for him, but he was right.
yeah,
He wasn't wrong.
no,
I mean, fellas, I'm like this. You look at this, okay? And I'm going to tell the PlayStation fans this too. Okay, you look down the last 5 months at the end of last year. Okay, look at all them doggone games that Xbox had come out
Yep.
on the Game Pass. You had Flight Simulator, you had Descended, you had Psychonauts, you had the Horizon, then you have Halo.
We had one of their exclusives, which was the MOB.
Right.
Oh yeah,
And we had access to.
So I'm like, okay, how the heck can you sit there and complain about what Xbox doing? Man, Xbox doing everything for gaming right now. That's I mean, and I forgot the gunk. That's 6 games out with the last 5 months.
Look, Chuck. Last year alone, we got the medium, right?
Yeah.
We got games like the Mighty Goose, right?
The
Gunk.
Mighty who?
the Mighty Goose, the Gunk. We
Oh
got
yeah,
12 minutes, Death
Oh
Doors,
yeah.
the
it's all
Ascent.
about them. Darn.
But we got Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. We
Damn.
got we got the MLB. We got Boulder's Gate. Remember?
Damn, I
Dragon's
forgot all
Quest.
about that, man.
Okay?
Darn.
We got all them fucking games and game passes that they had to pay day one, day and day. Shit,
Right.
even Alien Space Marines is in Game Pass right now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if they come right away or they come a little bit after, the point of the matter is
The Hitman trilogy is coming to the Xbox. The Mass
yes,
Effect remaster just hit Game Pass.
yes.
I mean,
Another
the,
thing.
I mean, look, the PlayStation 5 can't compete with that by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
There is
No.
no individual exclusive or game or anything like that that the PS5 could release that could compete with that level of content where damn near every week some big game is hitting Game Pass. And then not only are the games hitting Game Pass, then you get your Horizons, your Starfields and all that stuff, which is
Right.
just those games that just even boost it even more because those are games you can't play anywhere else except for PC. Um,
Right.
and then, but the thing is, most PC gamers are gaming on what? Windows, so you're still in the Xbox ecosystem.
Right.
Win. So, and this is why. Look, this is why, as great as the Series S and X is selling, that's why it's not their focal point
Right.
because
Right.
Phil realized a long time ago that what was going on now is how you win going forward. You have people who buy your console, invest in that console, and the way that they're investing in it is through Game Pass. Sarah Bond, how many times has she had to say it? Game Pass
Yeah.
subscribers buy and play more games. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? At this point, if you're denying the success, you're just living in the bubble. And this is why
But
so
they're not going to admit it. They're not going to want to accept it because they feel that's a threat. But in the
yeah
reality of it, it's not a threat because if Sony finds a way to do it themselves, that's going to help them too.
yeah
You see what I'm trying to say? Like these PlayStation
Yeah.
fans think that it's a threat. I don't know why you see Game Pass as a threat. Game Pass should be your vocal point as well because what that's going to do is going to push Sony to try to do something
hmm
because it's proving that
Yeah.
it makes money. It makes money, and them putting games on PC is a good start, but they have to do it day and day, and they'll see better
yeah
results. They'll see
yeah
better results because people will be like, "Whoa, I'm gonna play them on PC too, day and day." You know what I mean?
hmm
They'll see a much
Heck
bigger
yeah.
audience. You see what I'm saying? That's why you haven't seen real big numbers for the games they released so far on PC. That's why. But look at what was it? Death Stranding, I think it was.
yeah
It came out on PC and 1 million people bought it.
yeah
And the game came out what? A year, maybe 2 years later. So if they bought that much, even after all that time, they probably can get double or triple that if they did it day and day.
oh easily
You
Oh,
see what I'm saying?
easily.
That's all I'm
Easily.
saying. And that would help them even
and,
more because they're buying the games at $40 and $60 and $70
they're
on
gonna
PC also.
yeah they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that, Hebot. Look, this generation ain't ending with the status quo for PlayStation.
That's what I'm saying.
Not even close. I mean, you see the signs already. You know, they're as much as they try to brag about sales, they're the ones that's clearly playing catch up. And thank you for
Yeah.
joining Jay Dizzle, man, and the Sony fan base. Next gen starts by getting backwards, get a PS4. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I put oh shit, Sony's went backwards to catch up with next gen or some shit like that. I put some stupid remark, but I was just being
Yeah.
stupid.
Look, hey, I encourage every single one of y'all to be stupid right now because y'all deserve it, man. Because y'all went through 8 years of hell, especially
But
someone like Ebot who went through the trenches of Normandy, fucking Normandy, just trying to get people to understand that Xbox ain't
right,
bad.
right. When it was just me trying to say, look at the bigger picture and understand what's being said to you.
Yeah.
And they didn't even no, fuck you. You know what I mean? And now, see,
They didn't want to hear that he bought.
right, but here's the biggest difference too, Tuck. Remember, when people make fun of it now, like on the Xbox side, they're genuinely doing it to be funny, right?
Right.
Right.
When they did it last generation, it was actually real hate.
Yeah.
It was hate. It was hate towards Xbox, hate towards the fans, hate towards anything Microsoft. It was actual real hate.
Oh.
And you
Oh
know why
yeah.
you know it was real hate? You know why you know it's real hate? Because once Microsoft did everything they were saying and claiming that they wanted them to do, they still found something else to complain about.
Yep.
Yeah.
When it's genuine concern, right? You know how they would say, "Oh, I'm concerned for my brand because I love Xbox too," right? I'm just an Xbox fan that want better, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that was really the case, they would have never found something else to complain about. They would have never said anything else after that. They would have just been like, you know what? I'm happy now because Xbox doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? That's
Let
the
me.
difference right now between a person making fun of PlayStation on the Xbox side, right? Or the way PlayStation people made fun of Xbox last generation.
Yeah.
They do it now is to be funny. It's actually just to bother them, to pull their chain, to bother them, to give them a taste of their own medicine. But they don't hate the brand. You see what I'm trying to say?
No.
But when PlayStation niggas hated on Xbox, that was actual hate, real hate. And they showed it by their actions and their stupidities. Because when Microsoft fixed everything, what they do? They find something else to complain about. Oh, the colors of the console looks like shit. Oh, I don't like where the button colors look like on the Elite controller. Oh, I don't. They found anything to complain about. Anything. That's how you know when it's
like
hate.
Xbox. Xbox needs studios. Then they added
Right,
studios.
right.
Where
Exactly.
the games? Where are the games? Where are the games?
Exactly. They just bought a studio yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, where the games?" Nigga, they just bought it yesterday. Oh, hello. Like,
Common
wake
sense
up.
told you that it took time to make a game.
Right. That's the difference, though. Because these guys are getting mad because Microsoft Xbox fans are making fun of PlayStation fans, but the reality is they're just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Because they want to give them a taste of their own medicine. They're not hating on them because they don't care what they like.
Exactly.
If you like PlayStation, that's great. That's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I've never once told anybody not to like any PlayStation. What you like, but what these PlayStation dudes are doing. For example, I saw one guy say this. He bought say this. The Xbox Series S and X, they shouldn't count their sales together.
Yeah. That was that retard Dominican dude.
Yeah.
Failed Promancer. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where he said, "Oh, that they shouldn't count the sales of the Series X with the X because that's two different SKUs." I'm like, motherfucker, that's the same thing with PS4, PS5.
Yeah.
It don't matter if it's the same hardware. It's the same hardware, just one more powerful than the other. That's it.
Exactly.
It's still a new console.
Funny how he didn't say that about the PS4 Pro and PS4. Oh, they should be counted differently. No, they want to. It's funny. You know what? This ties into what Hebot was just saying. How they always move the goalposts when Xbox does well. Xbox is having success. Oh, that doesn't count. They're not the same. They're not the same SKU. It's always something with them. That's why we make fun of them, and that's why we.
Well, that's how you know. That's how you know when they say, "Oh, I'm critiquing Xbox because I care about the brand because I like Xbox." No, you don't. You don't like Xbox. What you like doing is using the Xbox, clownery to your advantage to grow your channel or to grow your followers on social because you know it works. But you don't give a shit about Xbox because if anybody cared about Xbox that said that originally, right? The minute they saw that Microsoft bought studios, why? Because they didn't have studios.
Right.
Sony had studios because they've had them for years. Microsoft only had one or two. They didn't have studios because they're still newer in the, game space, right? So they bought studios now because now they had the money, the backing from Microsoft. They like, yeah, go ahead. We'll help you. We'll fund you. We'll buy studios. No problem. Because they saw the profits, right?
Yeah.
And then when they saw that they're going to make newer and bigger exclusives, even nostalgic stuff like Fable and Perfect Dark, what they've been asking for, older IPs, all that stuff is for any person that really cared about Xbox, they're gonna be like, now I'm happy, because they're doing a bunch of cool shit that I wanted them to do, and they would show that. But no, now it's wait a second, wait a second. I still can't change my battery. I still got to change it.
Yeah,
It's not built in. I don't like that. That's gay. You see what I'm trying to say?
spot
That's
on. Spot
that's
on.
the reason, and that's how you know when it's fake outcries. It's not real.
Let me
It's
give
not
you an
real.
example. Let me give you an example of real outcry, right? Or real
Mhm.
what last generation. The thing that I felt hurt Microsoft the most, and why buying studios was so great for them, was that the third party deals just kept biting them in the ass. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That
Mhm.
they work with Remedy for Quantum Break, and then Remedy goes off and start putting their games everywhere, because they don't
On
want to be
PS4
bothered.
with Control, and gave
Yeah,
them exclusive content and all that shit. Yep, you're
yeah.
absolutely right.
I'm the Scalebound thing was so bad. People for some reason still fucking talk about Scalebound. Um,
Mhm,
the guy Moon Studios who made Ori
mhm.
desperately want so it was clear that last generation, when all that was biting them in the ass, they learned, okay, the best way to keep
Avoid
your
it
content going is to own it. It's to
and
own it.
avoid it and to avoid it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you avoid
That's
it by
why.
owning.
That's why. If you remember when we started the generation, right? What did they do? They allowed all these people to make these games without buying their IP. Right? I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna run it down to you. Press play. They
Hmm.
had Max Curse of the Brotherhood. Right?
Right.
They let him keep the IP. They never took it away from him. Right? What did he do? He left Microsoft when the contract finished. He opened up his own studio, changed the name, and put Max Curse of the Brotherhood on PS4. Right? And I'm
Right.
example number one. What happened with Insomniac? Oh, we want to be independent because we got tired of always not being
Oh
able to keep our
yeah.
IPs. Ted Price was like, "Oh, we got to keep our IPs because
Hmm.
when we did all the deals with Sony, we could never keep none of them, and they got like 100 IPs with Sony that Sony owns because they didn't help them unless they owned the IP, right?"
Right.
Microsoft was the only one that said, "Okay, do Sunset Overdrive because it's your vision." They let us have liberty. They had to let us have free reign. They didn't get involved. They didn't interrupt with us. They helped us build the source, the new engine that we built for that's why the game took longer. And now they're using that same graphic engine and technology for the Spider-Man games that
Right.
Sony didn't pay a dime for, right? And what they do, oh, we are owned by Sony now, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now they're fighting for the publishing rights for Sunset so they can make the sequel on PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't. And Microsoft said, "No, fuck you." They haven't done it, right?
Right.
Then with Remedy, with Alan Wake, same shit. They helped them build that Source Light engine for 7 years. They finally make Quantum Break, and they finally make their engine. Now they're going to use that engine with other people that own them for Alan Wake 2, for
Yeah.
Control, for Crossfire X, and all those other games they're making. And it was Microsoft who pursed that engine.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why they bought the Quantum Break IP, so they couldn't take it away from them and make it somewhere else. Then what else did they do? Dead Rising 3. They
Yep.
fully funded it. They fully paid for it using all the cloud technology and all that technology that was available with the Connect. What happened? It did well. And then when 4 came out, they wanted it on PlayStation, year exclusivity. What happened? The game didn't sell on either platform.
Right.
Huh? Then the guy from Moon Studio did the same shit with Ori. Then the niggas from Studio MDHR,
Yeah.
Cuphead did the same shit. And the niggas from Playful Games with Super Lucky Stills did the same shit.
Yep.
They all used Microsoft for their money to go put it somewhere the fuck else. While
Yep.
meanwhile, Sony and Nintendo, when they help anybody, and that's why you still don't see Bayonetta or Devil's Third or Ultimate Alliance 3 on any other console, because when they buy something and when they do it exclusive, we have full ownership or we won't help you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Yeah. And
So they
then,
get the games
look,
out, but they can't put it anywhere else, and the games are dead and nobody's playing them.
yeah. But look, Keybot, the two that they did own though, that they helped and they ended up owning was Undead Labs and Playground Games. And look at what
Yes.
happened with those two studios.
Yeah.
Playground Games is phenomenal. They're clearly one of their best developers.
Yeah.
And Undead Labs, people could hate on State of Decay 3 all they want, but The first State of Decay game was an Xbox Live Arcade game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
And then Xbox give them time to make the game they want. Now it's a full retail game, and I love that game, and I'll defend the fuck out that game for I love that game. All right,
Right.
So that game, and it has 12 million players, and so they stick to their guns, and Xbox rewards them by bringing them on to the Xbox games family. And now you look at State of Decay 3, and that trailer we saw, they said it last year with the black lady. That was an in-game model for it. For that's how that's so look at who wins in the end when they actually show some damn loyalty instead of thinking, all right, let me get Microsoft money and then put my game everywhere else once I get the smallest bit of success.
Right. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Yeah. No, you're right. That's the truth. But you think that now they'll continue to have success because they're taken care of, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what you're supposed to do when you have gratitude. Undead Labs showed Microsoft gratitude because they gave them an opportunity. They gave them a chance. Just like Ninja Theory. That's why they went to Microsoft. They gave them a chance and an opportunity, and they felt it was the right place. And they told them, yeah, you could keep your creative freedom.
Yep.
We're not getting your way, but you will own you, but you'll do whatever you want to do with the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they're about to go under.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you saw that people were like, oh, Scalebound. And what happened? It came out, and Platinum Games themselves admitted it was our fault. It was never Microsoft's fault. And Microsoft still don't fucking say nothing.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And people still up and down. I still had somebody in the comment section, in my comment section, 3 weeks ago, trying to say, oh, no, that was Microsoft. They don't know how to take it because of Colin Moriarty video that I did.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, last generation, Sony closed more studios than they have ever done before and cut relationships.
Okay, I'm back, brother.
Than they've ever done before.
I'm back.
All right, Chuck.
Okay, like for example, I told them, look, they cut ties with Ready at Dawn, the people that did.
The Order.
Order, right? They cut ties with the people who were doing the Echo game, which was called Team Echo. They closed down. They closed down Sony SOE, which was the Sony Online Entertainment.
Yep.
They closed down Sony Japan Studios. They cut the relationship and stopped funding the Wild, and that's why Michael Ancel and Ubisoft started doing Beyond Good and Evil 2, and then Michael Ancel left, right?
Oh,
they were doing the deep down with Capcom. They stopped funding the game, and Capcom couldn't keep funding it, so they cut the fucking game out, and they haven't talked about it.
Right.
Even though Capcom did you know what they do when they do with the licensing, where they refinance it or redo it again? What the hell that's called again? They repatented it.
Oh, you're right.
You get what I'm saying? They repatented it. That's what they did. But the game was nowhere to be found. Then they closed down the guys that did their Motor Age series, that was the ones who did Drive Club. Okay?
Yeah.
They shut down so many studios and did so much shit last generation more than Microsoft. And all you heard was, oh, Microsoft, all they do is mess up their relationship. They cancel games. No, they didn't. Only game they fucking canceled was Scalebound, because the Phantom Dust, it was something that was shown to them. It was a pitch, right?
Right.
And the game was terrible. And Microsoft, what they did was, okay, they released a video of what the game looked like. And when you saw the video, the game looked like shit. It was horrible.
Right.
Because people were like, oh, but why you do that? This game everybody was hyped. Like, look at the product that we saw. This is not good. So they showed it to the public, right? And then Fable, even though I enjoyed the direction they were going with it, and the game looked gorgeous, and I enjoyed it for what it was doing, because I got to play the alpha demo, the beta demo that they had. Fable Legends, right? They cut it down to rebrand it again and restructure it with Playground Games.
Right.
So what games did they actually cancel?
Just Scalebound, I guess. I didn't
That's
know
it.
that about Fable Legends.
Yeah, that's all they did. Did you know how much money they invested in Fable Legends? And then they had to cut the throat? $75 million.
Yeah.
They threw $75 million away and restarted from scratch. If that doesn't tell you that they didn't have faith in the IP or that they don't want to try to give the fans what they want, I don't know what will. Who the fuck throws away $75 million worth of work to restart from scratch?
And the thing about it is, I still think they're gonna come out with Scalebound. Eventually, it might. I don't know when, but
here's the thing, Tuck. They still own the IP and they repatented it. They repatented the IP again 2 years ago. So if someone that is deemed worthy down the line, if they really wanted to, they could have them take a crack at it again at some point. Yes.
Right.
Or even Platinum Games themselves. Obviously, if they do a deal with Platinum Games, it will have to be with a lot of restrictions and clauses and paperwork, because they're not going to let themselves get screwed again, obviously. Because the Platinum Games Scalebound project, that was $100 million.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know myself because I know a person that personally is good friends with Phil, that speaks to him on a daily almost. And Phil and him had a conversation and he discussed these numbers with him and what was going on DM, and he showed it to me. I'm not going to say who that person is because I have respect for the relationship and that person, but that's what it is. And I know people are like, yeah, bullshit, but you don't know shit. Trust me, I do. I don't have to lie. Okay? Yeah. And I'm not that type of person to chase clout. I've never changed my idea of what I've said about that. Right. You don't see me saying I know this person, I know that person. No, this is one circumstance only that I can honestly say I know a person that knows Phil personally. And that's how I found out. They paid $100 million and 4 years into the work of the game, and the game was still broken. And remember, Phil had made the announcement that the game was coming out in 2018. It was 2017. The game still was broken. Right. And then we found out that Platinum Games said they were having a hard time because they never had an experience making a game that was multiplayer online co-op.
Yeah, I think
they said it themselves.
I believe they said it was their first real big budget AAA game like that.
Yeah, with a multiplayer online co-op, like where you play online co-op in the campaign. They never did that before. That's why I was giving them such a hard time. They were still learning. You understand?
Right.
But in my personal opinion, okay, I think it was Platinum Games negligence and arrogance, because they were doing 8 other projects for 8 other studios and companies, and they concentrated on those instead of concentrating on Scalebound first, and that's what hurt the development of Scalebound.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, I agree on that. I'm in agreement
because all the other games, they all came out. Korra came out, Ninja Turtles came out, Star Fox came out.
Even that game they lied about when they did the Kickstarter game that they lied about putting on Xbox came out.
Yeah, the remaster of Wonderful 101, Nier Automata, Bayonetta 2. Remember, all those games came out. Even the other one. What's the name of the other one? Transformers Devastation, Ninja Turtles. And it was another big one they did. I forgot the name of the other one. The point is, they had like 7 projects on top of Scalebound.
And he bought. And let me ask you this: it was Sony supposed to fund that old ass man? They supposed to fund that old man. They did a Kickstarter for him. What's the name of that damn game that they had that old man on stage?
Shenmue 3.
Oh, yeah. Yu Suzuki. Yeah, they didn't fund that. They just presented the Kickstarter and had him on stage, to give all that. Look, we're great. We love, we care, this and that. But they didn't fund that at all. That was all Kickstarter. It was just to bring awareness to the Kickstarter, and that was it, which is a shame because they should have helped if that game was exclusive.
Yeah.
To the PS4, they should have helped them in some way, and they didn't. And the game is still exclusive, and it fucking came out like shit anyway.
That was during that time Sony was using indies because they didn't have games.
Yeah, well, they were trying to use the idea of, oh, look, we got Shenmue 3. Oh, look, we got Street Fighter. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you remember when Street Fighter came out, that shit was bare bones. It had nothing.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
still a $60 game, and even $100 if you bought the one with the statue. And yet people weren't complaining, but yet they wanted to talk shit about Killer Instincts because they were doing it seasonal, and Killer Instinct was only a $40 game, and it was an Xbox Live arcade game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
you know, there's just some people. There's so many things we can go back and reminisce and remind people, but everybody want to act like they got amnesia now because it's in Microsoft's favor. That's why.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's why I barely be on that shit because of that. I barely be on Twitter. Because it's just a waste of my time. I'm not wasting my breath, the little bit of help that I got to talk to people that really ain't real gamers. And they don't give a fuck about the industry. They don't give a fuck about the culture. They just don't. I'd rather sit here and talk with you guys for an hour or an hour and a half about gaming talk than waste my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But it's just like you said. I mean, it's just like you said. I mean, you know, these PlayStation fans can be all delusional all they want to and all that stuff. I mean, that's their business that they want to be that damn delusional. But right now, Microsoft got it going on. They slamming them on every doggone thing. They got the Game Pass. The Game Pass.
Why? Answer me this. Why are they freaking out? Because they just announced that Xbox sold 13 million consoles and PS5 sold 14 million. Why? Why are they freaking out? For what? For what reason?
I don't know why they're freaking out on that. I mean, hell, I mean, if it's anything, that's good for both industry. I mean,
what was that?
You know, man, these people don't want Microsoft to do good at all. They can't stand Microsoft. I mean, I don't like Sony, but hell, if they sold 13 million, I'm not gonna bash them. Hell, they sold 13 million, they sold 13 million. But now since Xbox is catching up with the narrative, you know, because like a couple months ago, they was, you know, the guy was over there talking about the numbers and everything. Oh, first they were saying that, Sony PlayStation 5 had 20 million, then they notched it down to 14, then they notched it down to 12. I'm like, y'all making it
I told you that's just the media always hyping shit up and lying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm like, make up your damn mind. What is it?
Yeah.
I mean, but as long as
I called that out last year when I said it. Look, and now it comes out that they only sold 13 million. I called it out. I said it. I said that's a lie. They did not sell 13 million because if they're how are they going to say there's shortage, but then they said they sold 15 million consoles? Come on.
Oh, right.
In 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah,
when just 5 months earlier they were saying they only had 7 million consoles. Come on.
Yeah, I've been saying for the longest, y'all, that the numbers just didn't add up with the timeline. You know, the shortages, chip shortages. You know, and now they're still producing PS4s to combat the fact that nobody could find a PS4. You know, none of that. Just something in my brain just ain't adding up to the numbers that they're putting out there. That's all I'm saying. You know,
look, we're talking about a company that lied, and they got exposed by the Guinness World Book of Records. You got exposed by the Guinness World Book of Records. How you gonna believe a company that lied straight to people's face? They made a commemorative console talking about they sold 500 million units lifetime, and the real numbers was 430.
Yeah.
That's like an 80 million console or 70 million console disparity.
Yeah.
Where the fuck those consoles went? They disappeared? You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like there's no they just do that because they can get away with it because they're a Japanese company. The Americans rules and regulations don't apply to them. So they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want, and then the stupid people in America that support them believe all their bullshit.
Yeah.
Go along with it and help them sell their bullshit. You see what I'm saying? But since day one they've done that. Since they're in seven. So people like myself that's been there since day one following all the bullshit they do knows that they're full of shit. They're not real. They're fake as fuck. And they do that for clout. And that's why I have no respect for the company. I just don't.
Yeah.
I think they're bad for business. They do things fucked up and they should not be that way. And people should call them out on it because it's bullshit.
Yep. And look,
they don't.
And look, and on the flip side, Microsoft is doing everything right. I mean,
right, or trying to at least, right?
yeah. I mean, the pro consumer moves, the way that gaming is accessible now. I mean, just Microsoft is just fine. Look, I don't care what anybody says, man. I love the Xbox One generation, but man, that generation was a blessing because it allowed
It
them,
was.
yeah, because
It was.
it allowed them to just be, instead of focusing on numbers and sales, it allowed them to get creative, and that creativity is just paying off. I mean,
Right.
we're getting great games. It's like we're not only getting great games, y'all. We're getting unique games, something like the Gunk. You know, a
Right.
very, very, very. You know, and the good thing about it, the Gunk, it's not a long game. So you could. So if you're somebody like Hebot who's busy, you could have it. You could chill and play that game for a few hours and
Right.
get pretty deep into it. You know what I'm
Right. Go
saying?
in, play, have fun, and get out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so you get this nice variety of games. You get in the this insane accessibility that only Sega would ever thought of something like this. You know what I'm saying? The even though how they have the two consoles, the affordable $300 console that is selling like crazy, and people adopt it and isn't holding next gen gaming back like all the dumbasses were saying a couple years ago, right? So you know, they just I give them all the credit in the world.
Well, I agree with you. What happened with this Xbox One generation, because they got so much negativity, unwarranted hate, bad perception, whatever you want to call it, right? That actually helped them find themselves as a company,
Yeah.
right? It helped them get their own identity and expand on that and bring new creative things and ways to expand the market, to adapt to the way the market's going,
Mm-hmm.
give people so much more freedom and so much more options, right?
Right.
Because regardless, you can hate Xbox all you want. There's no way you can hate on how much bang for your buck they give you,
Yeah.
right?
And the
When
people
you're
that
on
do hate it just
when
hate
you're
it.
on their console and their ecosystem, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
even a person that's really not maybe a big fan can turn into a fan because of how they treated, how they treat you on the console. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, a good experience goes very far with anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
the fact that, I mean, it seems like everybody who, even if they got, it doesn't matter if they got the Series S or the Series X, they come out having nothing but positive things to
Well,
say
what's
about it.
the general consensus that I've been seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of those videos that people are like that have gotten an Xbox this generation that kind of skipped it all last gen has been, I was wrong.
Right.
This console is really a nice console. And they have a lot of really great games that I thought were bad because people were giving it a bad press,
Yeah.
bad reviews, and I actually played,
Oh,
and they were good games. They're
hey,
really good games. You get what
you're
I'm trying to say?
oh man, Hebot, man, you are spot on because I see this a lot. I see this one a lot lately.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I can't believe I didn't play this game because people
Yeah,
told me that it sucked. I see that
yeah,
so
yeah.
much now.
You
That,
be seeing it a lot more. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you're right. And we're not making it up. You actually see it on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. A lot of people doing that. Damn, I didn't play this game because people were saying it sucked, and this game is fucking dope. What the fuck were they talking about? I was so stupid for not playing it. A lot of
yeah,
people. You saw that with Sunset. You saw that with Rise, Quantum Break. A lot of people, even Record, some people were doing the same thing as well. And that just shows you the type of mental state the gaming generation was last generation.
hmm,
You see what I'm saying? And how it was piss poorly handled, not only by the media, but even YouTube influencers that have
oh
big
yeah,
following
Now,
because
you
they
know
added
what?
more fuel to the fire, right?
yeah,
Well, you know what, fellas? Just imagine this, okay? And I just want you to imagine this. Now, just think, just and just like y'all, y'all talked about the Xbox One, and I'm glad to see what Microsoft did. They didn't close the doors on the Xbox, but just imagine if they did, we would
Yeah.
have to sit around and deal with Sony's bullshit
Mm.
like we did on all the other generations.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
to be
all
honest,
their
Chuck, you know
bullshit.
what, Chuck? To be honest, it's not even Sony's fault. It's the fan base, the media, the haters, the
Yeah,
trolls,
yeah, because they
the
didn't.
influencers, the ones that are following the bags, even all the fake half-breed Xbox fans that were like, "Oh yeah, we're Xbox fans." And the minute that it didn't work in their favor, they turned into PlayStation fans because they knew that got them clicks and views.
Yeah.
Right,
All of those factors is what played a role.
right. Plus,
You know,
and
and
plus, like you said,
Sony's they did start it because that's what they did with E3. Oh, this is how we play our used games, right?
Mhm.
They
well,
started it.
plus,
That's what started everything.
just like you said, I mean, it's all the fans' fault because the fans can make Sony change, but they haven't made them change. They have
Yeah,
not
yeah.
made them
You mean
change
by
nothing.
doing better. Yeah, you mean by doing better for them. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
ain't no doubt about it. Those doggone Sony fans were to complain about why they don't have a Game Pass, and they kept on Sony rump about it. Sony would have to do something about it.
Yeah. And it's
That's
weird.
all it is to it.
Yeah,
But see, the difference between Microsoft and Sony, Microsoft actually listens to what people are saying.
Their fan base. Well, I mean,
well,
especially on
fan
social
base.
media.
well, that's because
Sometimes they listen too much though, Chuck. Sometimes they listen because
Well,
some of the features that we got and things that we had that they
Yeah.
took away, we
Yeah.
lost them, and now Sony has them, and it was because they listened to the people that really weren't Sony Xbox fans.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the
Yeah.
Connect, for example, or like the Snap feature. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Those are things, or even Upload Studios. Like those are things that real fans of Xbox enjoyed and were appreciating, but the ones that
Right.
didn't were the vocal minority, and they actually listened to them. And now that it's on Sony's side, still everybody loves it. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right. Right.
So that's the bullshit I'm talking about as well. Like that kind of shit that irks me as well. Sometimes they listen for me, in my opinion, they listen way too much.
Yeah. I mean, because there's a middle ground to listen to audiences. You shouldn't listen to. I mean, we don't work in their industry, so there's just some things we just don't freaking know that we're not worth listening to. That's why I never had a problem with when people was giving Phil backlash about putting Quantum Break on PC and in games they want on Game Pass. I was always glad that they at least stuck to their guns on that.
Right.
Because that ended up benefiting us in the long run. I wish that they stuck with stuff like Mixer and stuff, because I fuck but I like streaming games, right? And Mixer was just perfect to me because I used to interact with guys like Hebot and New Legal all the time on Mixer. For those who don't know, I used to freaking love Mixer. So yeah, there's definitely a middle ground. But let me say this: the fan bases are just completely different. Because Xbox fans, we can criticize Xbox without being outrageous about it. I've spoken out about like I don't like how they market. I don't like when they give free consoles to these people who don't give a damn about Xbox. They make that one video showing the Xbox and then going back talking about PlayStation or PC. I never liked that. I think that's terrible marketing. But I don't harass them about it. I just speak my mind, put it out there, and and then focus on the good things. The PlayStation community, they just worship PlayStation and just bash Xbox, even when it make them hypocrites. I mean, I've seen dudes. I was seeing this one today. He bought. Oh, I would have bought it, even if Sony put every PS4 game on PS5. I would still buy them, or something crazy like that, or I still buy PlayStation 4 because the games are that good. And it's like this come from the same person who made video after video after video saying
that Microsoft
like,
had no games because they were on PC.
So that's the difference between the fan bases. They're like that's why I call them a cult. That's why me and E-Rock always make some cult jokes because that's what they come off to me, man, like some damn Jim Jones type people.
They have to. If they don't, they're gonna be losing money. Yeah, but that doesn't mean a difference. That don't mean anything. No, it doesn't. It does not make a difference. Absolutely not. Because their sales, they don't grow sales. They don't grow sales. They don't grow sales. That doesn't make them grow sales. That's hurting them. That's not helping them.
Yeah.
That's hurting them. That's why none of those games are making money when they go to PC. That's hurting them.
Yeah.
Hey, He-Bot, I want to ask you a
Yeah,
question right quick. What do
they're
you
gonna have
think
to do it.
about
They're gonna have to
these
do it.
damn leaks that you're hearing about on Horizon
Yeah, that's a
Birth
fact.
of the Wild now?
No, they don't.
They're not like
No, they no.
scared of them.
No, they don't.
Uh,
That's not something that
Huh?
hurts. Go ahead, Chuck. What were you saying?
I said, what do you think about all these damn leaks about Birth of the Wild? Horizon Birth of the
What
Wild
about it?
coming out now.
What about the Breath of the Wild? What do you mean?
uh, yeah. Were there leaks?
We have all kind of leaks,
Oh, I didn't know
About
that
what?
all kind of media leaks
about the Horizon game, Horizon 2.
about the Horizon game.
Okay, what about it? What do you
Hey,
mean? What are the leaks? I don't know what the
Yeah,
leaks are.
I don't know. I don't know either.
the leaks is like people's actually getting the game early and all that stuff, getting earlier than what they should be getting it at and all that stuff. Actually, doing spoilers and all that stuff. You know what people normally do when they get a video game early,
Yeah.
and they say
Right.
that Sony is pissed off about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
they do that all the time.
yeah. It happens.
But that's not something you can avoid with social media. You can't.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't avoid that. There's no way to avoid that. It's
Yeah.
like I said, when they'll have changes, and they're gonna have to do it now more than ever because again, they're not getting enough revenue from their internal studios and things like that. So they're gonna have to figure out a way to get more revenue quick. So their best bet until they can conjure up something like a Game Pass for themselves or the equivalent of it is to basically put their games on PC day and date as well, because they'll get a bigger audience quicker with more money on both sides, and that doesn't hurt the fan base on the console because that fan base is still going to play on a PlayStation. Play people that play on console do not play on PC.
Yeah.
That's simple. Same thing with Xbox. People that play on consoles do not play on PC. People try to use that as a fighting point. Oh, that hurts. No, because PC niggas play on PC. Consoles is what drives the market. The console is what moves gaming forward. That's where all the big sales come from. A PC will never hurt the console market because people don't care about PCs. They just don't. And they have over 200 million, 500 million people on PCs. And what is the highest selling game on PC? GTA.
Okay.
4 million people bought it. That's it. And there's 500 plus million people on PC because PCs is an open source. It's not a closed platform where they're going to keep on, utilizing the potential of the hardware because everybody has a different PC, a rig. It's different for everybody. It's never going to
Well, people
in the
normally use their
same.
PC for business anyway, so hell.
Most of the things that you get on PC is shovelware from independent developers.
Right.
What was the biggest selling games on PC? Stuff like Warcraft, RuneScape. You know what I'm
Right.
trying to say? The PC market is not a console market.
Yeah.
Most guys that play on PC and consoles, they have both. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, one second, y'all. 1 second. I got JT Gamer here asking, what do you think about Sony reproducing PS4s? Yeah, we talked about that a few minutes ago, JT.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah. But real quick, since it seems like you're now jumping in, hey, look. I just find it funny that the company that said that they believe in generations is the one who's still producing the old console because like Hebot said, they got some games coming out that they need to sell, and people don't. There aren't enough PS5s out there being played, being turned on, whatever the case is. That they there's a reason why they're still producing it in the Xbox.
Plus, a lot of people, like I said, they got rid of their PS4s trying to get PS5s, and then they don't have them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So they want to get more people to play the new games coming out because they're new games. Plus, they're the big flagship titles. These are their breadwinners. These are their money makers. You know what I mean? So it only makes sense if you can't manufacture PS5 due to whatever reason, shortage, money, whatever. Then manufacture what you can get out there to have people at least get consoles. Because I've seen a lot of people. Oh, I want a PS4 and they can't buy it because there is none.
And like you said, you better do something.
Hey guys.
Huh?
Hey guys.
I said, better do something.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to ask y'all a question, real quick. And this is gonna be our last topic. We're about an hour and a half in. So I guess so. If we end up pushing 2 hours, that's fine. I don't. I'm not in a rush today or nothing.
You
But
don't want to go? All
about
right, I'm going.
so not too long ago, it came out that Square Enix, and this was Square Enix, not Sony, who said that they want Final Fantasy, Sony to be the home of Final Fantasy, and the
Right.
mainline games not come to Xbox. I was just
Hmm.
curious if you guys have any thoughts on that. Tuck,
Oh,
what's your thought?
absolutely, absolutely. Talk first. Go ahead.
Y'all asked the wrong person because I don't play Final Fantasy. I don't give a
You
damn.
got to
I don't give a damn about Final Fantasy game.
I ain't mad at you, man.
Shit, I mean, the
Yeah,
last Final Fantasy game I played, and I put that shit up, and I never did play it again.
yeah. Well,
No.
for me, it's always about it's usually about the principle of things when it comes to a
Mhm.
topic like that. How once again, a Japanese developer purposely skipping Xbox. And at this point, I hope Phil sees the writing on the wall that some of these companies, no matter how many times you go to Japan, no matter how much you throw money to put the games on Game Pass, and they did put every Final Fantasy game on Game Pass at one point, I
Yes.
believe.
Why
Uh,
though? Why? Why?
yeah.
Unlimited? Why? Say why. Say
Oh,
why.
because they paid for it.
Exactly. Because they
Yeah.
get paid up front for the games, and they get max money for every game they sell.
Yep.
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
And
I'm
and,
sorry.
and
I
Right.
these
didn't
games are
continue.
and these games are available digital only, so that's more sales because you don't have the middleman, the retail, and all
More
that
profit.
stuff.
More profit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so
Well,
Phil does all this, and Square at the end of the day, Square is still going to be loyal to PlayStation. So to me, it's more of the principle of the matter, and that's why I have no problem. That's why I have no problem when Phil gets all the Hitman games on Game Pass or does something that people say is quote unquote anti-consumer, a term people use don't know what the fuck that means.
Hmm.
So I just want to if you have any thoughts, Hebot, I'd also like to
Absolutely.
hear your thoughts.
Absolutely. I was just, enjoying listening to your thoughts, how you elegantly put them. Well, for one, I love it because it just proves what I've been saying forever that people keep saying, and even E-Rock, that they keep giving us shit about. Japanese developers are nationalistic.
yep.
A big percentage of them. Am I saying all of them? No. But a big percentage, yes. And Sony is just trying to find a ammunition, right? With a well beloved, let's say, company or developer, because they make a lot of RPGs from back in the day, but they're not their same. They're a shadow of their former self anyway. Because a lot of people hated the new Final Fantasy remake because of the way they changed it from turn based to free roam, right?
Mhm.
But that's a whole nother topic, right? They're trying to find a way because they're still butthurt about the Bethesda acquisition.
Yeah.
Because they know that Bethesda acquisition was big and it's going to hurt them long term,
Yep.
big time. Not right now, long term, when they start seeing the fruits of their labor, they know it's going to hurt them. You see what I'm saying? So they're trying to build relationships with Square Enix again, trying to convince them and coerce them, like keep the bigger titles off of there and just give them the scraps and let them pay for it when you put it on Game Pass. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right.
That's all they're trying to do. And again, I like this because it proves what I've been saying, what E-Rock's been saying, that we've been called racist for. When no, we're not racist. We're calling out the bullshit because you can see it. Okay? That's number one. Number two, I don't like this is bad because regardless, like you said earlier, it's about options. And there is a lot of people that are on Xbox that love and legitimately appreciate RPGs like Final Fantasy and that Square Enix makes. They've owned Nintendo Switches and Nintendo consoles and PlayStation consoles just so they can play those games, even though they're Xbox fans. So for those guys, is I feel bad because they deserve to play it on their console of choice with the better performance and with the better feature sets. But they're not getting it because due to this, political bullshit of, it's all about the money and the Benjamins at the end of the day. So I can't hate Sony because they're going to do whatever it takes to try to fight back because right now they don't have a lot of leg and wiggle. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
my
so
well, my thing about it here, but how many damn Final Fantasies can you make? Come on
Tuck,
now.
remember, you got to remember, Tuck, that when they make those games, It's always an expansion of that universe. So meaning every time you play the game, it's like playing a brand new game with a new story and new characters. They expand upon it. They don't really play. They're not really direct sequels, so to speak. A lot of them are, but not every single one. So that's why, like the new one they're making is a completely new story and arc and new characters in the universe. The one that's supposed to be coming out, not the remake of Part 7, but the new one. And that's what people are upset because it's the new one. But again, in that case, I'll say this. If Square Enix actually does that, if you're really a fan and you got to play it, then buy a PlayStation to play the game. Now, if you don't like the anti-consumer practices, because the reality is Sony doesn't own Square, Sony doesn't own Final Fantasy, right? Which is the biggest difference, which my brother Unlimited pointed that out in his video a while back. Microsoft owns Bethesda now by choice. They want it to be owned by Microsoft. All their IPs are owned by Microsoft. They own them. So they have every right to keep them exclusive because they own them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy and Square Enix does not belong to Sony.
Bingo.
You see what I'm saying? That is the biggest disparity and the factor and red flag in this whole conversation. Okay, they want to do 6 months exclusive, a year, fine. They have every right to do that. But it should not stay exclusively on the console, especially when there's no stakes, there's no ownership. That further cements what I've been saying, that nationalistic behavior are there, and that Japanese companies stick with Japanese developers. They one hand washes the other. They stay together. Okay? It's
Well,
not
I'll play.
political.
I'll play like this, E-Bot. I'll play like this, E-Bot. Hey, once Mass Effect came out and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, I used to play, like the turn-based games and all that stuff, the Final Fantasies and all that shit.
Yeah.
But once,
The RPG, the more Western style RPG that has more
right,
free
once they
roaming,
start
like
coming
Mass
out,
Effect. Yeah, you
once
started
they
to
start
like that
coming out,
style,
that
like Witcher,
turn-based, and
like The
that
Witcher.
turn-based bullshit start dying down. Hey,
Yeah.
I was all about Mass Effect.
Right. You like games that play more like RPGs, like The Witcher. You're saying, right?
Right.
I got you. Yeah. A lot of people, believe it or not, feel that way. But there's also a lot of people that are still, they just love the turn-based strategy element and they cannot stand it. And I respect that. I get it. But what people don't understand is the only reason turn-based RPG existed, and please, people, don't get mad at me. Don't kill me. Don't send me death threats, please. But the only reason those games existed was because of the limitation of hardware.
Yep.
Back
No,
then,
that's true.
That's true.
That was the only way to create a massive world with a massive story and massive characters to give you the illusion of a big world by doing it that way with text and turn-based gameplay. So they can fit it all in a game. It was due to limitations of hardware. And that's why they exist. It's not because that was a fun way of playing a game. People adapted, people enjoyed it, people liked it, but that wasn't created to make it a fun way of playing games. It was created to give you an illusion of an epic scale. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what people don't understand and seem to forget. And please, I'm not hating on nobody. My brother Zobi, love him to death. He loves JRPGs, especially turn-based, and I would never disrespect him for that. But that's just the facts. That's just the way it is, man. And it is what it is. But I don't hate on people because they like our turn-based. You like turn-based. Hey, listen, more power to you. Shit, I ain't gonna hate on you because you like it. Fuck. We're not supposed to like the same shit.
I'm telling them straight up. Turn-based RPGs is boring as hell.
Okay. It is boring to you. Hey, Tuck, check it out. Tuck, I love eating pussy. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think it's nasty. We're not supposed to like the same shit.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, E-Bot. Don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying. But turn-based RPGs, oh hell no. Fuck that.
You find them boring. Fine.
Once I start playing Mass Effect games like Mass Effect and all that stuff, turn-based games is like thing of the past. You know, you go there and just hit a damn button and man, please hit a damn button and oh man, see who got more power and all. Man, that is
Oh
the most
man.
boring damn thing I ever seen in my damn life. And I'm just
I
saying the truth.
I also find turn-based RPG very tedious and long. Like they just take too long,
Yeah,
way too long. So for
and they
me,
boring.
and I find them boring to a certain extent. Depends, because there was one game that they did smaller by Ubisoft called Child of Light that you could actually free roam in the platforming areas, and then the only thing
Mhm.
that was turn-based was the combat, and I really enjoyed
Right,
that game, Child of Light. But I also loved Chrono Triggers on the NES. I also love
Right.
Panzer Dragoon Saga on the Saturn. There's some RPGs turn-based that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just to like Radiant said, there are games like XCOM, Wasteland, and Divinity. And I play a lot of RPGs. Now I prefer real time combat over turn based as well, but there's definitely been some turn based games I've enjoyed. But I
Right.
completely understand the criticism, and,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah,
You have to have time and patience when you play
yeah,
turn-based games.
yeah. Those turn
You
based
really
games,
do.
man, those were the first 100 hour fucking games that take forever to play, and you might not beat it for the rest of your life type
Yes.
games, man.
Or you get pissed off because you get 80 hours into the game, fuck something up, and you have to start from scratch because you can't pass the last
Yeah,
boss battle. That shit is not fun, my guy.
yeah,
That shit would piss a motherfucker off and make you break the cartridge in half. I remember, I forgot what
yeah.
game I played. It was an RPG back in the day. I don't know if it was in the Shining of the Holy Ark or Shining Force. I forgot what it was. But I know it was like really long. I had like 50 hours, 40 hours in this shit. And I missed something way earlier that fucked it up because I needed it to pass a certain boss or
right.
get a certain power to fucking beat the last boss. And I had to start all over. I said, fuck that. I broke my game in half. I didn't play it. I broke it and threw it away. I got so mad I didn't even bother.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you need time and patience, and that's just
yeah.
not for everybody. You know what I mean?
The games that used to do that to me were those hard ass fucking platformers. I
Oh
don't care
yeah,
what I don't care what
oh
anybody
yeah.
says. I don't care what anybody
Platformers are fucked up.
games like The Lion King were just oh man, that game used to make me
Oh my
crazy.
God, yes,
Oh, that game used
egregious.
to
They were
yeah.
egregious. My God, you wanted to kill yourself when you played them
Oh,
shit.
I'm confident I broke a controller playing The Lion King. That game was
Oh
so damn
yeah,
hard.
oh
And
yeah,
they were
oh
kids
yeah.
games, man. People look, whenever I see people say Dark Souls is hard or something, I'm like, no, you didn't play those late 80s or early 90s games. Those
Try
games are
playing,
fucking impossible.
try playing Shinobi one playthrough with one man and you die with one hit.
Yeah.
Those shits are annoying as fuck.
Oh yeah, they piss
Shinobi,
you
the,
off. Yeah.
the
You had to spend like 600. You had to spend like $150 before you master the game and shit. And the arcade, and this shit only has like 5 levels. Shit,
yeah.
crazy. They don't know. They don't know. But see, so ultimately, because I know you have to get going. My final thought on that is, if they do that and Square Enix ends up doing it, it just proves what I've been saying for years that they're
Right.
nationalistic. They stick by each other's guns. Nobody can argue that with me anymore because it's just the proof is
Yep.
right there, and it's a shame because nobody should be forced to have to buy another console, for example, or be on another platform just to play a game. Especially, I'll emphasize this again, especially if that company has no stake in that IP. If they don't own it and they don't own the developer, there is no excuses why it's there and should not be anywhere else. That's why I'm so mad about Spider-Man because that's all hypocritical.
Yeah.
They don't own it. All they own is the movie rights, but because of that, Marvel keeps sucking on them. What's up, player? How you been? How you been, puppy? So, hey, what's up, Papa? How you? So, because they own it and they have the stakes in the movie rights, right? They using that as their ammunition, and Marvel keeps bending over because they want to keep using Spider-Man in the MCU. You know what I mean? That's what I call
Yeah.
mudslinging. That's bad business. That's mudslinging. That's why I have no respect for Sony as a brand. And I've said it plenty of times. But that's the difference.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers want to complain, oh, but Microsoft got Bethesda. Yeah, Bethesda wanted to be bought. They wanted to be bought. Did you not see the interview? We wanted this relationship. They got bought.
Yeah.
They wanted to be owned. They wanted the partnership. They wanted to be part of Microsoft and their ecosystem. That's it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You can't
Yep.
change that.
Man, look, man, my comment section is great.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year to everybody in the comment section, guys. You
yeah.
guys are the best.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
happy New Year.
Amir pointed out something I didn't even know. He said that the Lion King was made to be hard because people rented the game, and if they played through it too fast, they wouldn't buy it. I didn't know that. I thought the game was just fucking hard because that's how it was during that time.
Now what happened?
He
He
said
said,
the Lion King game was made to be hard because people rented the game, and if they played through it too fast, they wouldn't buy it. I didn't know
well,
that.
no. No, not because Amir has a point, but he's saying it, I think, a little bit miscued.
Uh-huh.
Yes, people rented games at the time, but games back in the day were deliberately made hard because they weren't really that long. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So in
Right.
order for you to play them for a longer time, and in order for you to enjoy them better, feel like you got your money's worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
They made them stupid hard, so it would take you longer to beat them
Right.
because a lot of games were like 5 levels, 10 levels,
Yeah,
eight
that's
levels.
true.
You see what I'm saying? But that's he's right, but not because they rented them. No, that happened later when Blockbuster started renting them out. But even when you rented them out, you pay, let's say, $3, $4 to rent them. You could
Right.
only have them for like 4 days. You didn't have enough
Yeah.
time to beat it.
Yeah.
You never had enough time to beat it because they were too fucking hard. They were way too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those games are tough.
They were way too hard. You had to play them shits for weeks and weeks and sometimes months before you mastered it. Dude,
Yeah,
it
you
took
ain't never
me
mind.
it took me 3 years, I think it was, almost
Mm-hmm.
3 years, to be able to play Shinobi in the arcade with one quarter. It took
Damn.
me 3 years. Three
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I had to keep playing the game over and over, and I had to master. I think I spent like $1,000 in that game when I
Jeez.
was a little kid
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because because I kept playing it and playing it and playing. That shit
Mm-hmm.
was hard as fuck. I could play it now with one quarter, one man, and beat the whole game because
Right.
I mastered the game. I patterned all the patterns in the game. I mastered them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like Dragon's Lair.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I
That's
spent
another one.
dude, I spent million dollars on that game.
Oh yeah. That game was tough too.
And
It,
Dragon's Lair was really the first type of like interactive movie game.
yeah.
Like the
Right.
way that like the Until Dawn type of games like that. That was like the
Mm-hmm.
beginning stages.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
a movie and you had to go into
But
direction and click on
except
yeah.
except the animation was fantastic and it kept you in the action instead of doing that slow walking bullshit that I hate.
Right,
Yeah.
Just
right,
walk
right. Well,
slow.
Yeah.
because you were actually controlling the movie and the outcome of what happens in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
know. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
yeah, my
even
my
you
my
take
thoughts on
like
that is that though. That's my final thoughts on that. That
Yeah.
if it
I
happens,
mean,
nobody can argue anymore what I said about about the nationalistic behaviors and bias between developers that are Japanese
Right.
and but it's a shame if it happens. It's a shame because there shouldn't be no stakes because they don't own them. Now, if they go
Yeah.
out and say, "Oh, we own Square Enix, we bought them,"
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's
That's a
different.
different animal.
That's a different issue. You know what I mean? Which I don't see it happening because they don't have the money.
Right.
And Square Enix already went through 20 years of being slaves to Sony because the whole reason why they didn't put games before was because Sony had 19% of their stakes and
Mm-hmm.
their shares because when they were going to go bankrupt back then, when they were doing games on the NES because they wouldn't sell well, right? Or
Right.
as much as people thought, they were going bankrupt and Sony helped them stay open by buying 19% of their shares and their
Yeah.
stocks.
Yeah.
That's why all those Square Enix games and games only came out solely for PlayStation. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That's
And
true.
that contract ended like maybe in the beginning or the middle of last generation, I think it was. That's why all the Final Fantasies and the Kingdom Hearts finally came to all the consoles.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't see them buying them for sure. I don't, but paying for exclusive time exclusivity that I can definitely see because they already did it. They already did it with 4 projects or 3 games. They did it with Forspoken, the next Final Fantasy, and fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake. 3 games already did it. And you
Yeah,
see that we don't have no news on Final Fantasy VII remake coming to
yeah,
Xbox,
none at all.
and it's been like two and a half years already, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's weird what games Square. I mean, I'm glad they at least put the Tomb Raider game on Xbox. So I love them games.
Well,
So
they
like,
that's because it's an American
yeah, yeah.
property. They're
That's what
not
I'm.
gonna
Yeah,
they're not
that's what
gonna
I'm
hold that
saying.
shit hostage. They
At
know
least
they
we
can't.
get. Look, I mean, I like Western games more than Japanese games. So I'm glad that we get the Western ones. And hey, but with that, I think that we're gonna wrap it up there, y'all. Thank you very, very, very much for coming to the show. You know, for those who don't know, I don't really plan these shows out. I literally just send them a link and say, "Hey, feel free to join." Right. So the fact that they make it, I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful. And I like to wrap my shows out with everybody giving their final thoughts. So I'm gonna start with you, Tuck. Give me your final thoughts for the show.
My final thoughts of this show is just outstanding. I mean, we got a good group of guys as always talk good about gaming and everything. Just talk about good about gaming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We don't hold anything back. We're for real about gaming. Like I call Professor Ebonicus, that's his new name to me, Professor Ebonicus, coming out this year. But if you want to, but if y'all two guys, y'all know y'all gaming, y'all know y'all put like this, y'all know more about gaming than I do.
Yeah.
I'm just one of them old cats
Pero necesita pan ahora.
just love gaming for what
Go
it is, and that's it.
to the closet.
But I give you and Heboticus all the credit in the world, man. Matter of fact, Hebot,
No, you can take it
me
to
and
the
my
car.
son is playing that It Takes Two.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
having fun?
god. Oh my god, that game is so fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
yeah. It's a little bit hard because you gotta work together, but
you
it's
Mhm.
so
got
much
to
fun.
work together. Man, we got into that to that one when you got the different colors and everything, the way they move the scope and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So we had to realize that we had to just move in. We had to get the line
Go
together,
ahead.
and then it moved the floor. I like, okay. I mean, that was cool. I was like, wow, but the game is great. The game is good. And I see why it won Game of the Year. And it deserved every bit of its props. So EA, they did a good job. Whoever made that game for EA, they did a good job. I give them their kudos for that game. And that's it. My son, he was enjoying the hell out of the Xbox and the Game Pass. I thank all of y'all brothers for really just teaching him about the Xbox and all that stuff. So, but the game, but the show is always great. Every time when I'm in being invited to the show, it's always good. So, y'all brothers, we're gonna have a good year this year, like we did last year and all that stuff. But I want to bring up one more point, and that is that, okay? Just think about this, fellas. Every time when PlayStation come out with an exclusive, Microsoft gonna always be there to reply to all these PlayStation fans out here. Get ready for it because those days is over with.
Yeah.
You hear me? Those
Yeah.
days over with. I mean, so just get ready for that. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be nip and tuck from here on out.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you,
So that's
Tuck.
all. So that's all I gotta say, man.
Yeah, thank you, Tuck, as always. And Hebot, if you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up, man, feel free to share them. Oh, Hebot's on mute. I
Can
guess.
you
I
hear
guess
me?
he.
Can you
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
me?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah. I can
sorry.
hear
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm speaking to my brother real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because my brother's a pony, so we always
Oh.
argue every time. So when he
Oh.
or talk about stuff, so that's why. So I don't want to seem. In
Yeah.
other
Hey,
words, I
you
don't want
tell
to
him.
seem like
Hey,
we're
hey, you tell
arguing.
your brother stop being a pony.
Yeah, yeah. You know who it is. Tuck is Jorge. You know who
Oh,
it is. You
yeah,
know
he's a
who it
whole
is.
guy.
We played it before. You know the one that we played before online. I was just bringing the point that the exclusive on Sony they don't come day one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They know. That's what I'm trying. So yeah, what were you saying, Unlimited? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I was saying if you have any final thoughts before we wrapping up, feel free to share.
I mean, just it's good to be able to sit and talk because there hasn't really been a lot of news, but there's been a lot of games.
Yeah.
and I still haven't been able to really sit down and play because I've been sick a lot.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get better, but I see a lot of people playing, and that makes me happy because a lot of people have been playing games like crazy. I
Yeah.
see my feed, and it's been game after game after niggas are playing, and that's what it's about. The more games people play, the better and fruitful and better it's gonna be for us, the industry. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, binary domain. Yeah, binary domain back
Yeah.
compact.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Great game.
he went and bought it. My friend Jorge, my brother Jorge, he
Uh
went
huh.
and bought it because he wanted the game because he loved the game and he's buying it. He played it. He's playing it right now. So I'm trying to get. Those are the things that I'm talking about. That are more important. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Right.
We'll sit here and talk for a little bit, but we're talking because we love games. We're passionate. We wanted to get better. We didn't sit here to come and scrutinize Sony. We came here to talk about why they're doing what they're doing, and that is fucked up because that just shows a lot of things that we've been saying are true, which people want to be like, oh no, that's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they are true. Like you can't. You sometimes we got to get out of our feelings and we got to think realistically. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get out of our feelings and think realistically. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
So it is what it is. But I'm always happy to talk with you guys. We haven't even really gotten to sit down and play ever. We never get
Yeah.
to sit down and play on Xbox Live, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
We got such
so
different
when we can
schedules,
sit down and
man.
at least talk about the games, we have a good time. And I hope people just enjoy the show and what we have to say. That's it.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I told
Yeah, definitely, man. So, all right. So, thank you everybody for joining. Enjoy your weekend. If you're off on
and it helps me
ML,
too. You heard
yeah,
Unlimited? It
yeah,
helps me because when I can't do my show, we got next that I do it I can't do it. But when you guys do it, you guys help me be able to vent and talk my gaming talk because you set it up and all I got to do is just pop in. You see what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
So I
Exactly.
Yeah.
appreciate you for that too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, 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 not at all. Yes, but like I was saying, uh, thank you for the wise words, Hebot, and thank you everybody for joining. Subscribe to these guys' channels. Subscribe to Hebot. He does his reviews, his figure reviews, gameplay, classic gameplay, retro gameplay. I mean retro game night. Subscribe to our brother E Rock X for the Exile podcast for whenever that returns. For the Alpha Podcast, subscribe to my brother's Sega Man 101. And with that, we are out.